Hello, hello. Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. I'm trying to figure out, still trying to figure out how to work everything. It seems like it's not much light in here, but I wanted to talk about a few things. I was gonna actually make a video or go live on tomorrow, Monday, but after watching the fight last night, I'm like thoroughly pissed. Yeah, this is my green juice. I'm gonna put it over here. This is what I drink. Try to be healthy. I make my juice from scratch. But anywho, um, so let's talk about the fight that happened on Fox. As a boxing fan, we are probably all disgusted at what we saw the robbery of it all. There was a fight between Mikhail Fox and Gabriel Maestri. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But we didn't. I don't know about most of you, but I think most fans didn't even know who they were. You would call them up and coming fighters, prospects. They're in the welterweight division. Um, Maestri was set to go to Tokyo to compete for boxing. He has been in the Olympics before. He was in the London Olympics 2012, I believe, and Rio's Olympics in 2016. So he was on his way to Tokyo, I guess, and to compete. And he made a decision to pretty much just go pro and start fighting. I think he was pro before because this is fourth fight. But I guess in his country you could do that. He's from Venezuela, and he want to make his mark. Now, first of all, young man, because he's younger than me. Uh, Gabriel Maestri. It's not the boxing fans' emergency because you want to play catch up. You had an opportunity to go pro years ago. You decided to, for whatever reason, to fight in an amateurs or go for the gold medal, and which is admirable. But you can't make it our emergency that you want to play catch up right now. Um, and that's what I see you doing. You are 34 years old and you could have been fighting all along. You could have been fighting 10 years ago, but you didn't. These were your choices. And like I always say, it's your career to do with what you want. He didn't gold or he didn't medal, and I guess he felt like, well, now it's time to go for the money. Okay, I'm not saying he doesn't love the game of boxing, or it's not a game actually, the sport of boxing. But you came into it on your own accord when you wanted to come, and like I said, it's not an emergency for you to play catch up so you can be on the level that you think you should be on. You have to earn those spots like everybody else. So um, I don't know who bankrolled this guy. Who is so interested in this guy being a winner or a top tier fighter? I don't know, but somebody obviously is because they cheated for him. Now they could have had that fight and went on about their business. Nobody would have been the wiser or anything. They would have just been a couple of good fights. Shout out to Michael Fox. He did his thing. He You could tell that he takes it seriously. He worked he did the work that he needed to do outside the ring as well as inside the ring. He was a pure boxer, and he shows you why, you know, um pure boxing is better all around because he outboxed him. That's what he did. He outboxed the guy. Sorry, I had something in my eye. He outboxed the guy and made him look did his thing. Gabriel was Maestra. He didn't have an answer for Michael's boxing abilities. He did not. He was flat footed. All he cared about was the power punch and this, that, and the other. But let's go from the beginning of it all. Okay. I say I was gonna do a video about this, even if Michael Fox won, which he should have. I don't even want to say they gave him the fight, or if they would have gave him the fight. I want to say if they rewarded him the victory because he earned it. But I was going to talk about this fight anyway, because when we be talking about Tyson Fury and we be talking about Deontay Wilder and the cheating and everything, people like to make up the excuses of, well, the commissioner, they didn't catch it. The person who was supposed to be watching from the opponent's team didn't catch it. So, it's obviously not cheating. This is the prototype, the case that you can refer to show that cheating goes on all the time, and it could be overlooked by accident, or overlooked on purpose. The man walked to the ring with no signature on his tape where the glove was taped up. Let's start there. Where you do that at? And my video is saying the connection is unstable. Please wait while we try connecting. So you'll hear me repeat, um, just to make sure that I got it in. Because when I look back at my other video, I kept going and I was like, well, what did I say? So let's get to it. Where do we do that at? Is what I asked for. I'm talking about the signature that goes across your wraps. They sign the inside, they sign the outside. I mean, where do we, what fighters have you seen get in the ring where there was no signature on the outside of the tape, um, on fighters' gloves? That's proving that somebody saw you get wrapped and are validating that it looks good to them, right? Gabriel Maestri did not have it. He did not have a signature on his gloves, nowhere to be found. That's number one. He made it out the locker room, made it down the walkway into the ring. And when the referee brings them together to give him his last instructions or what have you, um, Michael Fox corner catches the uh, the deficiency. He catch I ain't gonna say deficiency because to say that is to give um, Gabriel Maestri the benefit of the doubt. Because I think if you're a fighter, you're supposed to know when shit ain't acting right or when shit ain't going right. You're supposed to know. And what I mean by acting right, like how, if your gloves are on too tight or if it's on, wrong, is incumbent upon you to find out what what is going on. It's incumbent upon you to find out those things. So he um he walked to the ring with no signature on his tape. That should have been obvious to everybody. That should have been obvious to him. He should have said, "Wait a minute, training time out. Is this somebody going to sign this?" Before I even walk out the locker room and be like, "Wait a minute, is this somebody going to sign this?" It makes me think nobody was there watching you get wrapped, or maybe you got wrapped and the opponent's team had somebody back there watching, and then when they left, you took those gloves off and did it again. There's no excuse why you don't have a signature on your wrapping, the tape part of your gloves. So I think the trainer in Michael Fox corner caught it when it came to the center of the ring for the referee's last instructions. So he caught it. The referee looked at it and said, "Yeah, y'all got to fix that." They went to the corner, and then you can hear Guzman and what's his name, Lennox Lewis discussing what was going on. Now, I have a rough understanding. I really don't know. I tried to Google it and I couldn't find nothing. Guzman kept calling it skin up. It's a way to cheat. That's what he's basically saying. My rough understanding. He's saying that you cannot tape the gloves that high up on the hand part of the glove. So, not the palm, but the opposite side, the skin side, on the opposite side of your palms. That part, there should not be no tape up that part because when you doing it, this is my rough understanding, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong. When you're doing that, you basically pulling the glove down tight or something. They call it skin up, like so. Some kind of way is a good way to somewhat simulate knuckle fighting, boxing or something. I mean, if Maestri was into knuckle fighting, he could do that too. It's a free country, you can go do that too. But when you come in a boxing match, you have to have gloves, and them gloves have to be padded correctly. But he says it's a when the gloves are taped like that, because he said you'll know too, because the laces are at the top. Where you tie off at the laces is kind of at the top, and it should be at the bottom. And I was like, okay, so um, it's I still don't all the way know how that poses an advantage. But Guzman been in boxing for a long time, and he would know whether or not that posed an advantage or anything. Because some of the other commentators was like, "Can you explain to us how that's an advantage or something?" Like they was very curious to know, and so was I. But maybe somebody got to do a video of how do people cheat that way? Like what does it do? Actually, and like I said, my rough understanding is a way of exposing your knuckles more so that you can have a more dominating blow. Now, his physique, I'm talking about Maestri. Um, his physique and his stature, he looks like he could get down, like he could throw down. I was like, oh, when he first walked in, I was like, oh, we got a new welterweight. Maybe he can give some competition to our top tier welterweights. It'd be somebody else that they could fight. But to have this issue right off the bat, I automatically put him in under an umbrella of cheating, and I really can't pay that much attention to him. The only paying attention to him that I'm gonna give is when somebody whip his ass, and I'm dying for that to happen. I'm dying for it because like them cheating for him, it doesn't help him. It really doesn't because what it's gonna do is all it's gonna do is you're gonna cheat for him. He's not gonna be prepared for like a Udanis Ugas, or what's the guy name? Jerron Ennis. I don't know why I forgot his name right quick. He's not gonna be prepared for Jerron Ennis. He's not gonna be prepared for Porter, Danny Garcia, um, damn show Terrence Crawford, and damn show Errol Spence. And he's in their division. So you cheating for him doesn't help him. You're setting him up for a big time failure and a big time loss. So I don't even know why they even chose to do something like that. But and he accepted it. Sometimes you got to see the integrity of fighters displayed in different ways. Like I think they're gonna do an investigation starting tomorrow about this fight because it was highway robbery, and I'm gonna get to why I think it was highway robbery. But if they do an investigation, sometimes I don't know. You guys tell me if it's cool as a fighter to go and say, you know what, I did not win that fight. You guys had it wrong. Can you right that wrong? Can you either take that fight off my record, or can you give him the fight? Because I don't want nothing that I didn't earn. I don't even know if he did that, would they even listen to him, but he should try. That's what I would do. I'm not taking nothing that I didn't earn. And he didn't earn that fight. He didn't earn that fight as the victory goes. He earned it to be there, but he ain't earned it to get the victory. And it's just pitiful. And shout outs to Michael Fox for handling himself with grace, because I don't know, somebody else could have just went off and snapped. That kind of shit will make you snap because that's what kind of robbery it was. It was worse than a Rolly robbery. When Rolly fought that guy, I never can remember the guy's name, but the guy clearly beat Rolly Romero, and Rolly walked away with the victory. I don't know how, but that's what they want to do. I don't know how we can be fans and put our money behind something that's going to be corrupt and lying. I'm not blind, If I was blind, I wouldn't buy boxing. I wouldn't be into it. I'm not blind. I can see that Maestri got his ass whooped last night. I dare say Ray Charles or Stevie Wonder could see that shit. He got his ass whooped last night. And for them to act like he won and then he put his hand up, dude, how you feel? How do you feel raising your hand when you know you got your ass whooped? You can tell by your gestures. You was getting frustrated in there. You was standing straight up. You got tired of chasing him. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna say he was running. It was ring generalship. What he's supposed to do. Lateral movements, the way he slip punches. This guy, Michael Fox, is six. He's 6'4", I believe, 6'3", 6'4", and he was slipping punches like he was shorter than him, shorter than Maestri. And Maestri is not a short fighter by no means. He's like 5'10", which is on the tall side in the welterweight division. But Fox was slipping them, and Fox was getting under his punches. And I mean, look, as you get older, a lot of things diminish, and you can't help it. Because one thing we can't do is fight Father Time. Now I'm gonna tell you, Maestri was sitting in there. I could time. I was like, oh, he's about to throw a right hook. Oh, he's about to throw this. I could see it. And Fox was slipping them so easy, like he was ducking under them. How you 6'4", fighting somebody 5'10", and you ducking and slipping under his punches with the greatest of ease? Fox could see it coming. Now, I think it's the second round. Fox hit him because he comes in while he like a Madonna type fighter, and he was swinging for the top of the head too. But again, Fox was good at slipping all night. Um, he was coming in. Fox hit him. He met him with a straight, and I don't know what Dan, but he met him with a straight, and of course knocked his ass down and set him down on the mat. Dude couldn't believe it because he thought it was just gonna overpower him. See, and like I said, it started off wrong because you try to rob the guy from the jump with the taping fiasco around your gloves. You was cheating right there, and it's hard to forgive a cheater. I don't give from this day forward. I really don't give a fuck what happens to this guy. I hope whoever he get in the fight with, whoever, I hope they beat the dog shit out of him. I really do, because you cannot you cannot be about that, dude. You was an Olympian. You represented your country. That means you supposed to be above the fray, and you coming into the fight cheating. So now everything you do going forward is suspect. I can't trust you. I can't put my faith in you. I can't put no money behind you. You a scrub. You a scrub. You started off a scrub. First impressions is everything. You started off cheating. Y'all, your whole corner know y'all was cheating. But did y'all care? No, y'all didn't. Y'all didn't care. And so when you cheating like that, what you trying to do? Kill your opponent? You trying to kill your opponent? I mean, I don't know what you're doing, but that I guess that's what you're trying to do. But I mean, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. And so, um, basically, the simple gist of how the fight went: Fox moved around, ring generalship, and he fought on angles. He slipped punches like all night long. Dude did not have an answer for Fox slipping punches, and he 1-2 them, 1-2-3. He just boxed them. He stayed on his toes the whole night. Talking about Michael Fox fighting Gabriel Maestri, a flat-footed cheater. And going forward, we're gonna see what kind of integrity you have, Gabriel. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what kind of integrity you have and see what you say about it. Because I don't even know. I wouldn't even want that victory. But it makes you. I guess they was fighting for the WBA interim championship. So that means you can fight Ugas. And I can't remember if Ugas has a fight Yeah, he do. He does have a fight. I was gonna talk about that. I don't know what I was thinking about just now, but he does have a fight. He's fighting under the Spence card. So whoever wins that fight, which I think Ugas will win, then this guy Maestri can fight him. Now here he is, four fights. This last night. I mean, yeah, last night was his fourth fight, and he's already in line to fight for a title. Sound like somebody else we know, Lomachenko. That's what we do when you come in from as an Olympian. It might be the case. I might not know it. It might be something I just learned today. When you come in and you were an Olympian, you get moved to the front of the line like relatively quicker than everybody else. But I'm not for certain. But then I think Lucas fought for his country, right, in the Olympics. Look how long it's taking him. You know, or Ugas, he's an all right fighter. I ain't gonna try to spruce him up like he the second coming, but he's not a bad fighter. But he still has it still has taken him time to even get where he is right now. So it is what it is. But who ultimately cheated for Maestri was the judges. If you read their card, the wideness in the scores, like 117 to 110 or 111, you would think that that was going to be Fox. Everybody, even the commentators of the fight, like Guzman and Lewis, um, we all thought that Fox won that fight. I'm sure the ref thought he won that fight. If they did a poll of people watching the fight, they would say Fox won that fight. I mean, you can even tell by how people was treating him on his way out. I don't, like I said, I commend that young man for handling it with grace because maybe he got to the locker room and went the fuck off because I would have. I would have went off in the ring like you got to be shitting me. Ain't no fucking way this bitch beat me. Like I would be going off. If ever there's a time to go off in the ring, that's the time. I ain't saying hit nobody, but I'm saying to go off and speak your piece because that was like robbery like none other. And here it is, August 2021. So when people tell you that cheating is not relevant or happening on a grand scale, don't believe them. We just saw it this past Saturday night on Fox TV, no doubt, on Fox. So Fox should be wanting to sue some people. I mean, that's just bad juju. You know, I mean, it could get to a point that I could be like, I don't want to watch Fox because it's not a real fight. And it's make believe. You don't want people to start saying boxing is make believe. You know, you have pageants, beauty pageants for a reason. This is not one of them. It's a warrior sport, and to the best warrior should go the spoils. But no, everything is about who they like and bias and just who they want to be the champion. And it shouldn't be like that. I gotta drink some. It's not bad. It's spinach, carrots, and I'm drinking today pineapple, apple, pear, a little bit of grapes. It's not bad. I make my own juice, y'all, because as y'all will see, just like looking and it's a little bit. I suffer from eczema very, very badly, and this season is always my worst. So these rashes, they hurt, and I take Dupixent, but since we've been in the pandemic and everything, they have not let me take the shot. So right now, I'm not on my shot. Dupixent is a shot that you can get it if you're on Medicaid too. So I'll put that out there. It's revolutionizing skin disorders because for the longest time they only had a few medicines that people could take for any skin disorder. You have thousands of different types of skin disorders, but only five medicines, and they don't always work. is skin disorders come with autoimmune. For me, come with my autoimmune disorder. But I'm not crying about it. Anything that other people that got worse autoimmune disorders than me, like lupus, Graves, or whatever. I have hypothyroidism. I have overactive immune system. That's what eczema is. I have asthma and I have rheumatoid arthritis. So I pray to God that I get better, and I'm thankful to God that it's not as worse. And shout out to the people who have it worse. Hoping that you get better. But I'll be back on the shot whenever they think it's necessary or whenever they're ready for it, and my skin will clear up. But that's why I drink these juice because I'm letting food be the medicine. Anywho, then back to the boxing. So the judges cheated for Maestro and he took it and he loved it. But you're gonna get your ass whooped. Your next opponent is gonna remember that. So you probably gonna spend your career fighting tomato cans. You ain't gonna be shit anyway. You ain't gonna be shit until you prove that you can beat a boxer. And as far as what I can see right now, you cannot beat a boxer. And it's crazy because when you're in the Olympics, they supposedly pick or favor boxers. Like your country should have picked a pure boxer. You don't even fight like you're an Olympian at all. I saw an Olympian in Fox. I didn't see one in you, Maestro. But you allowed the cheating to go on, um, and those people who cheated, the judges, in my opinion, should be arrested or fined or given a heavy fine, and they should be fired. You should never judge um, competition again. I just I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why. Who is bankrolled? Like, if we find like we need to find out who this guy is boxing for, because why are they so pressed for him to be the upcoming person? What what is why are we so pressed about that? You got fighters who've been putting in work ahead of him. What is so special about this guy that we gotta rob somebody and fuck up their record as if they can go on and oh it's okay, you'll do better. No, no. Fox lost the fight previous to this fight, and he went back to the drawing board and really got better. He recognized his mistakes, he fixed them, and he came back better. And then you guys gonna take it from him like that? Hell no. I feel bad for him. How this shit is affecting him going in the future with his career. That's it. That's how bad it is. Now you have a loss on your record that you didn't lose, but you already had a loss. So I know you knew how that felt, but that's neither here or there. You got a loss that you didn't deserve. It's gonna dictate how you get paid or how often you get paid, or like how often you have fights, but how much they're gonna pay you. You can't be a fighter who's losing all the time and getting a nice check. But I'm a believer that anybody who gets in the ring should have a decent check. You should make more than, I'm gonna say it, at a minimum $100,000. As much money as boxing matches or fights make, especially if they're on TV. There should be a minimum payment of 100,000 or maybe 50,000. Maybe 50,000. Maybe it should be broken up in, like, so if you're five fights or less, you should get a minimum of 50,000. If you six fights or more, your minimum should be 100. What do y'all think about that? Y'all think that's fair? Y'all think that's fair? Because guess what? These fighters, whether they top tier or not, they need medical treatment. Medical treatment is not cheap. Some of them might do well with having some Obamacare to handle their needs. You know what I'm saying? They can't do that making $7,500 a fight. I'm gonna talk about that all the time. I love you, Floyd, but you should never be paying nobody $7,500 to fight. Not you. Nothing about you, Floyd, should be cheap. And now that made you look cheap. And there's nothing about you that's cheap. So I thought, you know, you're not a cheap, you don't wear cheap clothes, you don't do nothing cheap. And even if you, when it comes to paying your fighters, you shouldn't be cheap there either. It's not a good look. And so I hope the government do get involved and start putting some regulations, some do's and don'ts. They don't have to go in depth, but just do it. Get involved in a way that you protect the fighters. I mean, Floyd, like when my Donna tried to cheat, Floyd could protect himself because Floyd is a millionaire, and Floyd could pay whatever you had to pay to get it his way. He wasn't gonna fight with them gloves. My Donna wanted to use used gloves with no padding. Now, my Donna, if you want to do knuckle fighting, there's an avenue out there for that. But you don't come to professional fighting or boxing and then want to use some damn, like, I don't know, gloves without no padding. And Floyd and them caught it. And Floyd had to pay them what, 2 million, something like that. And what Floyd say? Put them in the same shit I'm doing, that I'm wearing. Put them in the same shit. And Floyd had to pay him 2 million. What if you weren't Floyd and somebody came, came at y'all like that? Like they trying to get some gloves that don't have padding in them or something like that. And you're not Floyd. You don't have 2 million to give the other fighter. You don't even have 5,000 to give the other fighter. Especially if you're making $7,500 a fight. Come on with me. Everybody say $7,500 in my champ side voice. Press one. I gotta say it. I gotta keep saying that till it seems so damn ridiculous and embarrassing that nobody will ever try that shit again. Don't pay your fighters no little bit of money like that, please, please, because they taking a risk. And like I said, if they have to come out and get medical treatment like some Obamacare, or if you want to call it the Affordable Care Act, you can't afford that shit. Not with 7,500. I wonder what Maestro and Fox got paid last night. I wonder how much they got paid. You know, because maybe Maestro is actually a like that to pay people off. Because you know what, more than two people in that ring got paid. Somebody else got paid, and I don't have to say allegedly because if you take, all of us can say it was blatant and it was cheating. You could take that shit to court. You could relook at that fight. There's no fucking way that Maestro won. There's no fucking way. So I'm not alleging shit. I'm saying it straight out. There's no way that that dude won. No fucking way. I was watching the fight, and it can't say that Fox uh, couldn't take a punch because Maestro touched him a couple of times. It didn't even phase him. Who was frustrated? Who switched stances? Who kept standing up like stop moving? I don't know what it is, and I'm not saying it's all Latino fighters, but a lot of them do not like when their opponent moves. That's what boxing is. The fuck you gonna be on your toes if you ain't gonna move? That's what boxing is, bro. But that one lady judge, she should not work another fight again. Lady, ooh, 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 ooh. People put their blood, sweat, and tears into their careers. And you gonna carry them like that? Bitch, you ought to be slapped. Hold on. She need this. I hope y'all heard that. Mm,
Ow!
maybe she need this. That serious. I'm that serious. I hope y'all heard that too. I'm playing with my sound effects. And I can hear it in my headset, but I don't know if you guys heard it in this live. But I hope you heard it. But look, I done spent a long time talking about this. I didn't mean to. It was just something I had to talk about starting the day. Um, so I'm gonna move on because this I could not make the video the night of the fight, which I wanted to, or at least right after the fight. I couldn't because I was so in my feelings. I personally felt robbed. I felt bad for Fox. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. Like I said, shout out to you, champ. I'm gonna call you champ because you handled yourself like a champ and you handled yourself with grace, even though they did you dirty. I have no respect for Maestro. You know, there's things you can do to change that around Maestro, but shit, I doubt if your ass do it. And the only time I want to see you fight is when you getting your ass kicked. I don't want, I'm not supporting you. I'm not putting money in your pockets. But if you fight somebody like Jerron Ennis, I would. I would pay to see that. But I'm paying for Jerron. I ain't paying for your bitch ass. But let me move on because I never I'll never move on from that. I'm so mad about it. So when I always tell y'all like I'm different and I try not to be biased. This is boxing fan talk TV. And I try not to be biased because it don't do me no good to do that. I have my favorites, but if you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. And I will always call things down the middle. And especially like the pound for pound list. I think it's a sacred list and we need to put some spec on it. We need to put spec on it at all times, not just sometimes. And putting respect on it means you can't change the list from week to week. That's not putting respect on it. You can't change the list from month to month. That's not putting respect on it. You can't change the list every quarter. It should be annually. That's a sacred list, like I said, to go on. And those are bragging rights, and most more than likely, anybody uh who's good enough to read that list likely would be a Hall of Famer. So we have to treat it you know, treat it like a sacred list that it is. And I told you, I don't want to say I think and I feel when it comes to the pound for pound list. I just want to put in the person name, do some calculations, as far as the point system, and then boom, voila, you got that fighter has an accumulation of points. Whatever highest points wins, or goes closer to number one, if not number one. Now, how I broke it down, how I do my criterion, I call it Teasley's criterion for pound list. I did a pre-recorded video. Used have been live, but that one was pre-recorded, so you can go back and check it out, and you can see how did I come up with my list. Okay, can my criterion be approved upon? Yes, it can. It depends on you. It depends on what you want to do with it. You can improve upon my list. I'm not saying my list is the end all to be all of my criteria. It can be approved upon, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say the way I did it. And like I said, go back and watch my first video and you will see what I'm talking about. But I did a list of the top notable fighters that you hear about all the time. And then I ranked them. Okay. So my list goes as follows. I got Terrence Crawford as number one. Yes, I'm a Bud fan. Yes, he's my favorite. But it was no bias in why I picked him. Terrence Crawford has gone through three weight divisions. Let me repeat. He has gone through three weight divisions where he was champion. I did not hold against nobody or prop them up the level of competition that they had. We could talk about it. We could talk about the level of competitions they had. We could talk about how they fare. It all of that is good talk, but I didn't use it as a criteria. I used actual numbers and facts. Were you a champion at the 135? Yes, there's points there. Were you a champion at 140? Yes, there's points there. Were you a champion at 147? Yes, there's points there. And not only were you a champion, you were unified. And then not only were you unified, you were undisputed. So all of those received points. Nobody else on my list can say that they did that. The first thing you're gonna notice too when I'm telling y'all my list is Canelo is not on there. I told y'all if you get caught cheating, you can't go on my list. If you admitted that you cheat at any time in your boxing career, you can't go on my list. It's a sacred list. Manny Pacquiao has admitted that when he first started boxing, um, he put rocks and stuff in his shorts so he can weigh a little bit more, so he can meet the required weight to box. Now, shout out to Manny for feeling like he can beat those guys regardless, even if they bigger than him. You get credit for that. I mean, because we know you a warrior, a true warrior, but you cheated, dude. And then people said that's the only cheat. No, it's not the only cheat. I cannot confirm that Manny Pacquiao was a cheater in his lifetime. But Manny Pacquiao head grew after adulthood, and that shit can't happen nowhere. So I have to use my own common sense. His head grew. It did. And now look at his head. It looked like it's getting smaller. So maybe now he's not cheating. But at one point he was. He had to be. And again, I'm basing it on the fact that his head grew. Brain development stops at the age of 26, people. Let me say that again. Brain development stops at the age of 26, and everybody knows that humans grow slower outside the womb than they do in the womb. The only fast time that humans grow is from zero, from like a baby to 5. Let me get some more to drink. That's the only time humans. Otherwise, your head ain't growing after adulthood, dude. Come on, that shit is next to impossible. I can't. I'm not gonna. I know they want us to believe that it's possible. I'm not gonna believe that it's possible because I know it's not. You know, I gotta start seeing some other motherfucker heads grow after adulthood, and I don't see it. So Pacquiao. Again, I'm not talking about what I think Pacquiao took because I don't know anything. I don't have no inside track to know. But all I can say is his head, so he can't go on my list. Number two is Josh Taylor. Now I said if you don't have 25 fights, you can't be on my list because how do you assess a body of work without having a body of work? I think Josh Taylor is at 18 fights. That's not enough, for me to take you serious. 25 fights, yeah. But guess what? There is an exception. And the exception is if you're undisputed. Now, Tank has the WBA regular belt at 140 that Mario Barrios used to have. But Josh Taylor has the super, I guess. And either way, the powers that be to call him undisputed. So since they call him undisputed, I'm not getting into that fight. Yes, I do not believe that there should be a whole lot of belts out there. There should only be like 4 belts. Keep it simple. All that other shit is making things be confusing. But the powers that be decided that's what it is. So guess what? They call him undisputed. So he goes on my list because he's undisputed. That's the exception. He has reached the creme de la creme of achievements. So why would I keep him off the list just because he didn't make 25 fights? So that's how I go. Now, EJ is number three. Earl Spence, you are as good as Bud. You are. And in the welterweight division, you are the man. Just in the welterweight division, you are the man. But EJ, or EJ could be number one as far as what I see. But I have to go by what is, not what I see, not what I think or what I feel, but what is. EJ didn't have or don't have the opportunity to become undisputed, or sometimes it took a long time for him to get to his belt, like compared to when he was ready for it and to when he got it. And that have a lot to do with people ducking him, or things falling through or whatever, because he has always been his own man, his own boss. And so it probably took him a little time to get to where he is today. So I would say that EJ is only number three because of opportunities that he has not gotten. But if he had all those opportunities, EJ can be number two or one. So I'm saying yet when it comes to EJ. I'm just going by what he has right now today. And right now today, he is unified. So unified does not be undisputed. It just don't. So that's why he's number three. Teofima is under him. And Teofima is another one who don't have 25 fights, but he's undisputed. So, and like I said, I'm not getting into that back and forth about the WBC belt that Devin Haney got and versus the one that Tio got. They said Tio was undisputed, so that's not my fight. My belief in belts, it should be only four belts, period. So all that, since I don't get to make those rules and decisions, I'm not gonna waste time, talk about stuff like that. But Teofimo is considered undisputed, so he's on my list, even though he doesn't have 25 fights. Jermell Charlo should have been on anybody's list. Now, y'all know me. I have said things about Jermell Charlo. I have an issue with him. I have problems with him because he be cooning, and I'm serious about that. He doesn't have to coon, that is. But I'm never gonna shit on him when it comes to that record. That's a beast right there. That's a warrior. And every time I hear people's pound for pound list and they don't got him on there, I just be thoroughly disgusted. I don't know how you don't have this man on that list. He ain't no bitch. He ain't no punk. And he the damn shit. He the bomb.com in that ring. It's just his behavior outside the ring could use some work. And I'm sure he's working on that. So, but in the ring, I call it like I see it. Jermell Charlo is my number five. He's unified. He did fight for the undisputed, and in my opinion, he won that fight. He did not win it in Jermell's fashion. I think he was preoccupied. I think the stuff that went down with him, speaking out of pocket or out of turn or getting out his lane, however you want to describe it. I think that whole thing when about the Deontay Wilder thing, I think it was preoccupying his mind because I don't think he intended or believed he was going to get the backlash like he got it. So he couldn't. He was preoccupied, I believe, but he still would. I think he beat the dude. I ain't gonna say whip his ass because Castano proved to be a formidable opponent. But nah, Jamel beat you, and I would love to see a rematch, and Jamel will beat you again. So, but Jamel is number five, and one day he'll be further up. Now, look, if Jamel had won, just based by my point system, if he had won that fight with Castellano, then Jamel would have been number two on my list. Just by my point system, he would have been number two. straight up. The box on everything. You know what I'm saying? So um, shout out to him. Here's to both the Charlos getting better and better and better inside the ring and out. So let me move on. Javante Davis. Our little nugget right there. Our little nugget. Javante is the man. He is the man right now. A lot of hard work and dedication. It pay off. I think Floyd and them are guiding him correctly, but in a sense, I do and I don't. I think that Floyd and them know what they're doing with him, and they're guiding him and they slow walking him. But I think personally, like Floyd is stifling in a way. As long as Javante kind of act robotic with their rapport, like Floyd said do this, Floyd said do that, you do this and then you do that. But I don't think he has room to grow as just as a man or just as his own self, his own boss. We used to say something in the Navy said, well, we would say, it's my time to drive the boat. It's my turn to drive the boat. Meaning your turn to be in charge, your turn to be the boss. And Javante, it is your turn to drive the boat. You know, it really is. Floyd can do what he's doing from a distance. Whatever he done for you, as far as organizing fights, getting you the paydays, he still can do that. But you need to drive the boat. But you're on the pound for pound because Javante has a championship belt at 130 and 135 and 140. I don't know if the 135 one is that interim, but I remember when he went into the Leo Santa Cruz fight, they kept saying he has a belt and Santa Cruz has a belt. And so Javante is a champion simultaneously, um, in three different divisions. Somebody kind of reported on old media. I was looking at TV and they say, oh, they was I forgot who they was trying to big up, but they was like, oh, if he do this, then he could be champion, and whatever. And he totally forgot about Javante. I didn't forget you, boo. You're a force to be reckoned with, and for real, uh, Javante has more than just a fighter's chance or a puncher's chance to be undisputed at 130. And I dare say be undisputed at 140. But that shit about going up to 147, please disregard that shit. Devontae, don't do it. As fans, as your fans out here, we don't want to see it. Don't do it for so many reasons. I talked about that in my previous videos. Don't do it. Regis is on my list. Regis should be on my list. Regis is a great fighter. Um, the only person that beat him was Josh Taylor, and that's kind of debatable. If they had been fighting in America, maybe it went different. But uh, beating Regis is why Josh Taylor is undisputed. But it is what it is. It happened. Regis want that get back, but Regis was a champion. In fact, I think he was unified. I don't know, but he's on the list at number 7. Jamal Charlo is number 8. And the only reason Jamal Charlo is at number 8, just like with Errol Spence, he doesn't get the opportunities. There are people ducking him. I don't believe he's ducking anybody. Everybody's making it so difficult. They just need to go ahead on and make the fight happen and just, that do make it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? So um he's on the list at number 8. Then Andre Boo Boo. Boo Boo is another one who don't get opportunities and everything. Sometimes, it could be who you with, it could be your promoter, the networks who you fight under. I don't know. But he doesn't get opportunities and it's sad because they age. Boxing one of them things you gotta put it on the same timeline like they do with women in regards to having children. Every woman knows that the best time to have a child is before the age of 35. That's what they tell you. And the way shit be going now, the time, the age could be getting lower. But after 35, you start taking tests to see if your kid has Down syndrome or other issues or whatever. But the younger you are, the better you're gonna be able to go through that because that's an ordeal. You can't. This is why you don't see, and I'm not saying it's an absolute like never happens, but you don't really see older women having children because it takes a lot. It's wear and tear on your body, and I'm telling you, it'll knock you on your ass. It can fucking kill you, and that's the same thing we say about boxers. A boxer's life in that ring, out that ring, like the toll that it takes on your body. What that ring, out that ring, like the toll that it takes on your body. What can long ago they used to have 15-round fights. We can't do that long ago. They used to have 15-round fights. We can't do that no more. And they only lowered it to 12 out of safety precaution. So I mean, come on, guys, we got to get better. I just seen. I'm sorry. I just keep looking up at my screen and see that it keeps saying it's unstable. The connection is unstable. I'm not sure why it does that, but I'll look into it. Get back to the list. Number 10 is Danny Garcia, and number 11 is Sean Porter. Danny beats Sean because Danny has been in more than one division, and Sean has only been in 147 that I know of as a professional fighter. So Danny gets the top billing over him just because of that. Danny was a champion at 140. I think he was unified at that, but I know he was a champion, and then he became a champion at 147. So um, that's how I did my list. Now, hold on. Let's see. Devin Haney is not on here, and I think it's because of the number of fights. Let me check. Because of the number of fights. Let me check to make sure that. Sorry, y'all, for bending down, but I'm looking up Devin Haney record. Devin the Dream. Oh, well, he just made it. Shit, when this happened. When I was looking at it, I must have missed that. But Devin has 26 fights, so he can make the list. Um, he's he will probably be under Sean, like as far as things that he have accomplished, and his is a travesty of justice. Like he gets no justice. You know, I love his statement when he said, "They say everything, but let's fight." I love it. I love it because he really exemplifies how they are. And speaking of Devin Haney, I'm gonna segue right into Rolly Romero talking all that cash shit about your boy Devin Haney, the Dream Haney. Rolly, now when you lost that fight and they gave it to you, you know what fight I'm talking about. It was a couple of fights before. I was like, mm-mm. I was ready to just dismiss your ass altogether. I was like, because I've seen you talk shit a lot on your social media, talk shit with Tiafimo and all that, and I was like, can he fight? You know what I'm saying? And then when I see the fight and you straight up lost, and they gave you a win, why I couldn't tell you, but you lost to that guy. Is it Jackson? I can't think his name. The brown skin guy that had like the little braids, but he looked Latino to me. Whatever the case, you lost to him, and they gave you the fight. And so I was already dismissive of it. But then I seen you fight here lately, and I said, Rolly is improving. Like, I gotta give it to you. You actually took that shit to heart, and you went home and you started improving. Now, I still say you lost the fight, and you should not have won. And whatever you got for winning, you should give back. Like, you shouldn't even have a belt because you lost. But that robbery this past Saturday night on Fox, that was worse than yours. That was worse than yours because I'm telling you, Fox nullified this dude through the whole fight. Like, I ain't give this dude no round, any. And just because he caught Fox a couple of times, that don't mean shit. And if I was gonna give him a round for that, then I'm giving him one round. But Fox nullified Maestri the whole 12 rounds. I cannot say the same thing for the guy that you lost to, Brody. I can't say the same thing. So Saturday night was a worse robbery than yours was. But you be out here talking shit. And Devin, he's saying they say everything, but let's fight. You hear that, Rolly? They say everything, but let's fight. They say everything, but let's fight. You're not saying let's fight. It's easy to make. Devin is his own boss. I'm sure you can get a check for either what you made just this last fight or that. And he got the paper to do that. So, Rolly, you gonna let him say they say everything but let's fight? He a bitch. He a punk ass motherfucker, whatever. But you scared to fight him? That's what you sound like. You shouldn't have been out here talking shit because you didn't have to. People would like you, Rolly. Like I liked you. I'm like you improving. I still like you. I mean, but not over Devin. I can't because you just showed me you full of shit. And I like Devin, but sometimes it sounds like I might not like Devin because I want Devin to be challenged. It does again. It doesn't matter if I like you, if I favor you. I still want you to get out there and show us what you got. I still want you to show and prove, Bud Crawford, why I liked you in the first place. I still want you to be challenged. It doesn't matter to me that you fight somebody that you know you can't beat. You chose boxing. That means you chose to give it the good old try. You chose to get yourself together, keep yourself together so that when you get in the ring, you can bag of tricks, and pull out whatever to catch the victory in whatever fight you're doing. You chose this profession, and if you chose this profession and you're gonna be talking shit, you know, then back your shit up. Floyd might have talked shit, but he backed his shit up. Please get that point. And right now, Rolly, you sounding like Ryan Garcia. You really sounded just like him. Maybe y'all two should have a fight. I'm sure you feel like you will beat him, and you probably can hit him harder. You probably hit harder than him, but he has pop in his punch. But I think he's faster than you. I think boxing wise, he can outbox you. But that's a good 50-50 fight right there. If you not gonna fight Devin, fight that. But this shit need to stop, y'all. Devin is in the 135 pounder. Don't stall him out. Because if you stall him out and then you think you supposed to just you got another thing coming, that's bullshit. Don't nobody respect no bullshit. We don't want we're not as fans putting our money into or trying to buy front row seats to bullshit. And that's what y'all giving us. Rolly, Ryan, and JoJo, watching you. You are the interim champ. You need to go ahead and make the fight with Devin. Why the fuck y'all scared of this man? If you scared of him, learn to do what he doing. Or get the hell out the sport. It don't make sense. So, Devin, I apologize. Um, They really, you are probably outside of Deontay Wilder the most avoided fighter ever. You and Deontay are the two most avoided fighters ever. They say everything, but let's fight. But yeah, Rolly, either shut the fuck up like Big Daddy said, or and I'm talking about Big Daddy Bill Haney. Shut the fuck up like Big Daddy said, or fight. Now what I now I'm gonna move on because I can't stand people who be just like talking bullshit. Rolly, I thought you was the goods, but you showed me you're a bitch. You call him a bitch, but you really the bitch. I don't see nobody scared but you. But anyway, I'm gonna move on. What I was gonna talk about tomorrow, I'm gonna go ahead and do today. And I'm over an hour, but that's okay. Your Danish Ugas is a welterweight, and he's fighting on the undercard of Spence versus Pacquiao. He's fighting Fabian Maidana. Yeah. So I was gonna say he's Maidana's brother. Fabian is. So he probably just like his brother cheated, but then I'm not gonna do that because I gotta judge everybody individually, but my guard is up. It means I'm watching with a third eye. Your Danish Ugas thinks he's the boogeyman. What y'all think? He think he's the boogeyman in welterweight. I don't think so. I don't think so. To be honest, when he fought Sean Porter, I thought he won. I thought he won. But he edged him out. Like they were so close. Put it this way, they were so close in that fight that they could have said your Danish Ugas won, or they could have said like what they actually said was Sean won or a draw. And any one of those decisions would have been okay with me. Anyone. But your Danish Ugas think he is the boogeyman, but I don't know. I don't see that. I looked at his record. Nothing about his record jumps out at me that makes me think this dude is the truth. Like he breaking down like notable fighters. Um, like I don't know how long he was an amateur, but he's fairly new as far as what I recognize to to the boxing world. Like I know he's been an amateur a long time. I know he's a Cuban fighter, so that makes him the goods. I know this, man, but he haven't been around long enough for me to. I haven't seen anything that makes him the boogeyman, but you guys might see something different. And like I said, this is considered the co-main event for Spence and Pacquiao. How I don't know. But your Danish Ugas calls out Spence. He calls out Pac. He calls out Crawford. He wants to rematch with Sean, and he calls out Thurman. So you guys go ahead and do that. He has a belt now, so he's a worthy opponent. He's worthwhile to go ahead and fight. He has a belt. He's the WBA champion. So to me, Jerron, you should be trying to make that fight. Jerron gonna take over this division early. I just know it. I hope that both Earl and Jerron could have a fight together. That would be interesting. But and I couldn't really tell you who will win because they are similar to me for some reason. Earl and Jerron are similar to me, and I don't think we've seen the best of Jerron yet. And Earl got different more gears and levels that we haven't seen either. So I think that would be a good fight. But I don't know. It may not ever be made. Um, he believes he's the top dog. Talking about Ugas again. I don't know why. Who have you beat? Well, we can say that. You didn't beat Sean Porter according to them. I thought you did, but you ain't beat him that good. You ain't beat him convincingly. You ain't beat him like Earl beat him. So can't really say you're the top dog, dude. He wants to prove it though. He wants to prove that he's the best. So I respect him for that. But when he called out all those people, all I said was stop overlooking Jerron Ennis and all these top welterweights. Y'all stop overlooking this baby. Now I know he a grown man. I know he a grown man. Sometimes y'all hear me, do a little baby talk in a sense. Like I might call somebody a little baby or a nugget or whatever. But they are all babies to me. I'm not talking about you guys as the fans, but I'm talking about them relative to my age. Like they're babies to me. They grown men though. I give them, I'm not stepping on their toes for that. So when I call you a baby or whatever, don't don't take it wrong. I'm just saying to me, I have children your age or close to your age. So to me, you're our baby. Fabian Maidana, I profiled him. He has 19 fights, 18 wins, one loss. He's 29 years old from Argentina. Yeah, he's Maidana's brother. Like I said, his co-main event. His best, and if it's crickets, let me do this. Jaden Para. I gotta try out all these sound effects. Let me try it again. I hope that y'all heard the sound effect. Jaden Power, I don't know him, but he had a better record. He had a 32 wins, two losses, one draw. Um, all the other fighters that Fabian Maidana fought, mm, record was like 8-8. He had crazy. They had crazy records. That was the best person that he fought that had a halfway decent record, and he lost. I'm not impressed at all with his opponents. I'm talking about Fabian Maidana. I don't know them, never heard of them, probably will never heard of them. So I don't know much about Fabian as well. So we'll see when the fight goes down. Udenis Ugas has 30 fights, 24. It said 30 fights on his record, but his record says 24 wins, 4 losses, and 0 draws. Hmm, That's something. See, I got that straight off the record. But anywho, you know, give or take 30 fights, give or take two. So he's 35 years old, 5'9", 69 inch reach. He fought a couple of undefeated guys. What I would say about Jordanis Lucas, he's a good fighter. He's not a gatekeeper. He's just a good fighter. He's a good prospect, or you could say he's a good contender. But to say he's the boogeyman, no. And maybe he's saying it because with the Cuban fighters, we always give them the benefit of the doubt or put them like above everybody else, saying stuff like he's Cuban, so they're gonna be tough to fight. Well, so was Ortiz, and I do believe Deontay knocked him out twice. Nothing against Cuban fighters, but they can be beaten too. But they do have grit, and they do learn their fundamentals. If nothing else you can say about them, they a Cuban fighter will always be fundamentally sound. I haven't met one or seen one yet. I should say met. I ain't meet none of them, but I haven't seen one yet where they was not or weren't fundamentally sound. They can go in their bag of tricks and pull stuff out. Even when it comes to cheating, like Eris Landy Lar, not a fighter I like, but he's fundamentally sound. He puts me in the mind of Kell Brook, but in a difference. They have their own little flavor, but kind of fundamentally how they are and what they do, they seem similar to me. But I will never forget. when Laura poked the eye of El Petro and caused him to fight. You know what I mean? Y'all need to check that fight out with El Petro head blew up like crazy um, because his eyes was poked. And his eye was poked because he was piecing up um, Eris Landy, Laura. And so when Eris Landy for Canelo, he asked, again, I don't like Eris Landy, Laura. And here's Landy for Canelo. He asked, again, I don't like Eris Landy Laura. And here's like Eris Landy Lara. But Eris Landy Lara beat Canelo. That he did. He beat him. He ain't watch him, but he beat him. Canelo had no answer. He cannot fight somebody who's on their toes and can move around. As Floyd said, no special effects. And Irislandi Irislandi Land, what happened to say his name? He won against Canelo, and they gave Canelo the fight. They robbed him, and that was wrong. I might not like him because I feel like Irislandi, when he's losing, he'll find a way to cheat. He always do. And so that makes me not like him. I used to didn't like Abner Mares because he did the same thing. When he's losing, you would get a lot of nut shots from Abner Mares, and I didn't like that either. But I mean, if that's what they call dogging out, I don't call it dogging out. I call it you was getting your ass whipped and you had to cheat. That's what I call it. But when Hurd beat Eris Landy, you talking about happy. You talking about happy. I was jumping up and down like, whoa. He beat his ass. He knocked him out. Had him slobbering and, you know, nose running and shit. I was loving it. I was there for all that. So, but Iris Landy, he don't make my list. I told you I don't put cheaters on there. Um, that it's going to be sacred and everything. But, that's all. I'm looking forward to the Errol Spence fight that's coming up. I think there's gonna be a fight on the 14th. I didn't know about this fight that was happening this weekend. Hell, my mom had a comment and said, "You looking at it on Fox?" And I got my TV set to tape any boxing that come on. No matter what time and this, that, and the other. But uh, Michael Fox, shout out to you for handling that situation with grace and dignity. We all saw that you were robbed, and everybody knows that, and I'm sure everybody's going to make a video talking about it because it was so bad that if I was a judge, they'll get 20 years. That's how bad that robbery was. You beat his ass from pillar to post that whole fight, and you knocked him down, and somehow or another they gathered the whatever in their fingers to write down Maestri as the winner. Are you crazy? Maestri, you're a loser. You're a loser. And now we gotta watch you carefully. You can't, like I said, I was gonna report. I don't see how I went back to this because this is how mad I am. I was gonna report on this fight because I was like, wow, did this dude just try to come in this bitch cheating and got caught? But here's the main reason why I was gonna talk about it, because he didn't get caught by no commissioner. He got caught by Fox's corner when they met in the middle of the ring to get the last instruction from the referee before the bell was to start. And I was trying to read his face. I'm gonna tell you this: Maestri got a good poker face. He still looked like he was like humming in the inside, but he do got a good poker face. He do got a good poker face because I was looking for one little telltale sign that showed that he know that they was cheating. I've never heard of this skin up thing, and Guzman tried to explain it. I've tried to Google it. I didn't see anything about it, but if anybody know about skin up, hit me up and explain that to me. Oh, and people, I can be reached at Boxing Fans Talk TV. I think let me make sure with my email. I have to look. Boxing Fans Talk TV at gmail.com. That's Boxing Fans Talk TV. You can email me anything, any questions or whatever. Sometime when I ask questions, if y'all know the answer, email it to me. I'm here to talk about things from a fan's perspective. I think, us patronizing these fights, making these people rich, we should be considered in a lot of decisions that are made, especially if when you got judges who cheat. They should pay a heavy price for even doing that shit to the fans. Because some of us, all we have for entertainment in our life, because our life is get up, go to work, pay all these bills. Sometimes the only entertainment you have is to go out to a movie once a month, or maybe buy cable. For me, I'm not that terrible. You know, like, how do I say it respectfully? Um, I do okay. I do okay financially. I'm not great. I do live on a fixed income because I'm retired, but I do all right. I do enough, but I'm not rich by no means. But I have bills and responsibilities like anybody else. A child in college, you know. I got a lot of responsibilities. I got elderly parents, and that I want to do for more. And my highlights of the month is watching boxing. So I pay a lot of money for cable when a lot of people have shown me that I don't even need to pay that much for cable to get to the channels that I normally watch every day. I don't even need cable, but I got cable because of boxing. I can tell you, I watch HBO because of Bill Maher. I watch Showtime for all the shows like Curb Your Enthusiasm, The Shy, um, Shameless, other little shows that Showtime have. But mainly, the reason why I have cable is so that I can catch all the boxing. That's why. So I pay that expensive price for Direct TV just so I can catch all boxing. And I have my TV set up so that it'll take boxing no matter what. Like, I don't have to like look for fights. If it's coming on and it's first aired, my TV is going to tape it. And sometimes mistake happen, like for whatever reason it didn't take, but it most of the time, like especially if it's Showtime, it's going to repeat itself. So I eventually get to take it. But that's why I pay for cable. I pay that much for cable, but and it's for boxing. That's the only reason I pay for cable. I pay over $200 a month for cable, but I have all the channels that boxing come on. I have other paid channels that I like. I have Netflix, I have Hulu, I have Disney. I do a lot on my TV, but honestly, the one that get most time is YouTube because I watch all the boxing channels out there. I do. I watch all y'all social media. Y'all have a lot of relevant things to say. You motivate me. Shout outs to you guys, and you know, um, just thanks for being a motivator. You know, I know today is one of my favorite days because I get to watch trail boxing with Neek J and Boxiana. I live for Sunday. When y'all have days off, Boxiana and Neek J and Black Fight Fan, I don't like when y'all take Sunday off. I really don't like it. I look forward to it. I really, really, really do. Like I said before in one of my videos, the ladies bring flavor to your channel. Cece, love seeing you on trail boxing every week. So, um, about to end it soon. Um, but I know like I gotta get a following, and so over time, like like I say, I'm learning all the time, and my favorite saying is, "When you know better, you do better." So that's what I'm always aiming to do, is to do better. But like I said, what's important to me is to not be biased and to call it straight up, because the sport is so grueling and so serious. There is no room for bullshit. I really do believe that. And Maestri, your name is mud now. It's tainted. I said that to somebody before. Your name is mud, and they said, "What does that mean?" So let me give you a quick history lesson, right quick. So during World War II, I'm not World War II. I'm sorry. I started off wrong. During the Civil War, Lincoln, after they knew that they won and everything, he went to that theater, Forest Theater, and he got shot by John Wilkes Booth, who was an um, who was an actor and basically a sore loser. So he shot him behind the head, and he jumped off the balcony where Lincoln was onto the stage. He hurt himself. He hurt himself in the jump. I think his leg got caught up in something when he was jumping, so he didn't have a smooth landing. He said sick Tyrannus something, some Latin type of phrase, and he ran off. Um, and he got on the horse and he rode. Uh, for everybody who live in Maryland, he probably took the 301. Pretty much, that's what he did. He took the 301. You know how you go in Upper Marlboro, not Upper Marlboro. How come I'm drawing a blank? It's round the corner from Andrews Air Force Base, but it's Maryland. But it's basically like the way that you would go if you were in DC or Northern Virginia, and the way that you would go through Maryland to get to 301, that area. He rode down that area, like probably down that street. And I know it's a bridge or two that you got to cross. A matter of fact, is the bridge right before you cross, where you're up in when you coming from Virginia up into Maryland. That bridge right there, whew, that's a scary bridge. That shit look like it been around since Lincoln. But anywho, John Wood Boot rode his horse as fast as he could to get out of town, because he know people's gonna be dead on his heels. He gets somewhere in Virginia. Of course, you're riding a horse. Eventually, both of y'all gonna get tired. You need to rest. So he stops at a doctor's farm, and the doctor name was Mud, and that doctor decided to covet him, hide him in his barn or whatever. Um, was the doctor down with for what he did? I don't know. Was he a part of the original plan? Is escape? You know, because they planned that out. That wasn't by happenstance. Was he already on the escape route? I don't know. Um, but he and they found him, and but Mud was complicit in trying to hide him. So they was like, "You motherfucker! You try to hide this dude who just killed the motherfucking president of the United States, motherfucker." So, you know, he was a disgrace. He was beyond um, the bottom of the barrel. He was a disgrace. So they took his name and made it into a bad thing. Your name is Mud. I mean, think of everything bad you could think of, and what they say. Because I mean, killing the president and then trying to run away, you have to be the scum of the earth, right? And then you a person that hid president. So let me get out this, y'all. I'm a history major, so I apologize. You know, I um, yeah, my arm is really, really bad. See it. It'll heal up when I get back on my medicine. But I'm a history major, and so I like to talk history sometimes. So, anywho, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. And like I said, when you know better, you'll do better. Hopefully, I get to knowing better how to run this thing. It's a lot of things that I want to do. that I don't know how to do right now. All right, thank you.